really excited. We launched our SD-WAN product back about a month ago already. It's I just realized it's the 14th, and we launched it back on September 15th. So um, it's been a long time. We've spent a lot of time developing the product. We realized that we're late to the game. We realize that you've been selling SD-WAN for other service providers already, most likely. But we've really used the time wisely. We've really, taken advantage of the fact it's been out there. We've interviewed with our channel partners. We've interviewed with customers. We've interviewed with other service providers, and really did our research and really took the feedback and incorporated it into our product and into our implementation of the product, and so that we could provide the best possible customer experience from day one. So, really excited to tell you exactly how we did that as we move through the presentation. So, we realize that you're aware of SD-WAN, you know all about it, what the features and benefits are. So we're just going to kind of gloss over that a little bit. So with that, I will say that we call our product SD-WAN Next, as the naming that marketing has given to it. So anytime you see any collateral, it's going to have this SD-WAN Next on it. All right, so moving along here. Basically, what does SD-WAN do? It simplifies the delivery of modern applications, optimizes multi-location network performance. It allows customers to scale for whatever the upgrades or whatever the needs are in the future, and it saves operational costs because you can manage everything remotely. So I don't think any of this is anything new to you guys. I'm just going to move on. So from a performance perspective, we have the centralized management. Again, you don't have to, we don't have to visit each site. You can do everything remotely. We've put a lot of emphasis on having best-in-class security as part of our package. We'll get into that a little bit later. And there's an improved quality of service across all sites, because now we can manage traffic real time on the fly when it's needed. And also, last but not least, is the analytics capabilities, which is something that really was not exactly available for customers in the past. The ability to see what's happening in the network, to see exactly what's happening with the traffic, to make real-time decisions and adjust on the fly and accordingly is really a big part of it. And it's really, comes with the fact that it's a cloud-based network management delivery. So that's, really something that our customers are very interested in, and I find to be one of the cool factors. And along with that, on the next slide, if it will move for me, here we go. This is just a shot of our customer portal, so you can see. I know it's very hard to read. I think, Kevin, are you making this available for everybody after our discussion here?
Yeah.
Okay. It's just I realize it's hard to read this way, but maybe when you get the electronic copy, you can blow it up and see a little bit better. But you can see things like network availability, WAN performance, application performance. What applications are being accessed and when. And I mean, this is, I call it the wow factor, the cool factor, if you will, of SD-WAN Next. And then what exactly are we offering? So we have two standardized product templates, and this is where we kind of get into a little bit of what we've taken as far as lessons learned from what other SD-WAN service providers have done. So realizing that there's going to be certain features that most customers are going to want, we've taken those features and we put that into a product template called Standard, which we expect to satisfy about 95% of our SD-WAN inquiries or requirements from customers. And then we have SD-WAN Plus, which includes all the features of standard SD-WAN, but it adds some more features and functionality. Most mostly focused on security. You get the, not only the next gen firewall, but you get into anti-malware protection, intrusion detection protection, URL filtering, and on-ramps for SaaS and IaaS applications. So those are really like the two things. And between these two is really going to cover probably about 99% of our use cases or requirements customers have. But we do have a custom solution we can build depending, anything the customer wants, we can build it, customize if it's not already included in these two templates. So the idea of having two templates was making it easier to sell, but most importantly, easier from an implementation standpoint. We don't have to create all these templates and go through this, long drawn out process. We have them standardized and ready to go with each sale. So, timeliness of install was a big, part of this. And we took the feedback. We heard that it was getting frustrating for other service providers with their early installations of SD-WAN. It was taking a long lead times to have the installations completed, which leads me into at the SD-WAN national services. So what professional services is, so that's to piggyback of what I just said. There was a long time, installs were taking longer than anticipated, and then the day two support wasn't really there because a lot of the other service providers were trying to do it all in-house, and they just didn't lack the necessary expertise, being that it's a new new technology or a newer type of delivery of service. And really no knock on them. It's just something that, they didn't know what they didn't know. But, again, we weren't the first to market. So we took that feedback and realized from day one, we needed to partner with the right vendors to perform our installs and provide day two support. And we've done that. We've partnered with two different vendors that have a vast experience with SD-WAN. They have some very major customers that they've done deployments for, and they continue to support for day two. And we really took a lot of time identifying the right vendors to partner with. And there's a very meticulous grading calculation of what we identified as what was really important for customers and how to be successful with the implementation of SD-WAN. And that's what the professional services are. So on the day of install, first of all, our vendors will coordinate all the installs with the customer. They will migrate their existing legacy configuration to the new SD-WAN platform. They actually follow up on day two after the install is completed to make sure everything is operating the way that it should. And then, moving forward, our customers call and have the access to our vendors, and they will support them because we are deploying it as a fully managed solution. So any changes the customer needs to make, they need to call the vendor, and the vendor will make the changes on behalf of the customer. And there's no charge for our customers to do that. It's a 24/7 support system, and it's we're really excited to partner with these two, and we look for it to be, for us to really give that great first impression that we've worked so hard to have. And then again, the day two support where, we have the team of experts, we've partnered with the right people to make sure that, when you sell SD-WAN next, it's in the right hands. It's not being handled by vendors that have never handled this before. And also our customers, in addition to that, our customers can also use the vendors for network consultation type of questions. Like, should I say it's down the road about 2 months. I notice I'm experiencing congestion between two sites. Should I upgrade my bandwidth, or what do you recommend I should do to improve my network performance? Because the customers will see more so than ever again what their network performance actually is. They have way more control than they ever had before. I'll pause there. Is there any questions on that? I mean, this is a real big differentiator from what we're doing versus what other SD-WAN providers are doing. And we're going to definitely, it'll be very apparent in our marketing collateral and on our websites and all that. We want to make sure we bring this to the forefront. That support is our very, very important topic for us with this. Okay. All right. I'll move to the. All right. So again, quality and support is very important to us. Again, control and visibility into the network, the built-in security, the world-class support provided by the professional services is really the 4 key bullet points that we're emphasizing with our product. Okay, and then just want to give a little bit of background. Maybe it might be a little bit, technical. Hopefully, some of this isn't so much of a, a repeat of what you might have seen before. But just want to, show the traditional, model versus what the SD-WAN model looks like. The traditional model, typically, it's a hub and spoke configuration where you have like a data center or main hub headquarters as the primary go-to. So all of the smaller sites would go through that hub in order to reach the internet and back. And obviously that causes a latency issue, application performance issues due to that kind of longest wait possible to get to the internet, so to speak. And also, if you have one centralized location to go into the internet, you also have a single point of failure. So with SD-WAN, it's now each site accesses the internet, so they don't have to go through the hub site. And if they should have a problem, they could go through the hub site to access the internet if they had some kind of an issue on their own. So it just provides a lot more flexibility. It's fully meshed configuration, and it greatly improves performance for each site. All right. So as far as the actual back-end architecture, we are partnered with Cisco Viptela specifically for SD-WAN solution, and they have the components of the solution consist of a control plane. So each customer has its own dedicated control plane. And then they have what we call a data plane, which is really the transports and the tunnels that interconnect the CPEs. And then you have the CPEs themselves at the site. So there's like three particular components of the solution. Right. And then the components of the data plane. So the CPEs are interconnected by a mesh of IPsec tunnels, which we refer to as the overlay, and the tunnels right on top of the transport networks, which could be internet, it could be MPLS, LTE. The really doesn't matter what the transport is; it just needs connectivity. Is really all it needs. And then the tunnels, they're defined in the vManage and created in vSmart, so which is up in the control plane. And then the tunnels can be created with any kind of topology the customer needs or what the requirements are. It could be the traditional hub and spoke. It could be the full mesh, or it could be a hybrid of the two. But the key point here is we can build whatever network is required by the customer. And I should add also that this product, the SD-WAN product, is available across the U.S. So it's not only inside the Altice footprint, but it's outside of the Altice footprint. And we can also do most international locations as well. We have that capability from day one. All right, so security, again, these are what are included in SD-WAN Plus. Anti-malware protection. I'm not going to review. I'm assuming everybody knows what anti-malware protection is, but if you don't, I can review this. We have and then intrusion detection and protection, and then I like this next slide. It really shows how everything works together. So you have traffic coming in from the internet. It's blocked or admitted depending on what the customer's rules are. The incoming files are inspected for malware, and the traffic is inspected for attack signatures. And once it passes through those 3 series of checks that then the traffic is sent to the end user. And when the user sends traffic back out to the internet, the traffic it's inspected for attack signatures, and then the traffic is blocked or admitted according to what the customer's rules are. So that's sort of how, like, try to simplify what all those technical terms and jargon means. Basically, it just means that the customer, it's the best possible layer of protection that they have in terms of security. And then we also have URL filtering as part of the SD-WAN Plus offering as well. So URL filtering is just simply, we can block certain sites, whatever the customer wants blocked, we can easily do that for them. Some of the default URL filtering includes categories such as pornography, drugs, or alcohol. So those are defaulted, blocked. Unless the customer wanted them, we could unblock them if they wanted. Any questions so far? Okay. Moving on to put a couple of use cases together. Well, first of all, as far as adoption by verticals, this is really how it's played out. And I got to say, we've spoken to about 14 or 15 customers, and most of them have been in the financial, the what we're calling the BFSI, banking, financial services, and insurance. But mostly it's been it's been banks, a lot of banks, and there's been some healthcare verticals that have shown a great interest in this. So the stats that are shown here, I tend to believe them. So when you look at 76% of the BFSI vertical will deploy an SD-WAN solution in the next 12 to 24 months, I can see that. I can also see that in healthcare. But these are really the 5 big verticals that have a very strong interest in SD-WAN. And then the next 2 slides or 3 slides are just some case studies put together. So one of them is a growing charter school, and they had a primary data center with all the schools accessing the applications remotely. So they were in a hub and spoke configuration, and they were using point-to-point T1s to connect the school sites with the data center. And they ran multiple PBXs at each location. So the issue was the point-to-point T1 architecture wasn't providing enough bandwidth for their servers that were being used by students and faculty. And their current carrier wasn't able to provide any business continuity in the event of a T1 failure. So as a result, their IT department was constantly receiving complaints about applications running slowly. They needed more reliability, and they were experiencing outages on a regular basis. So the solution was an SD-WAN solution, or SD-WAN deployment was utilized. So now they were able to upgraded their T1s to 50 meg broadband connections. They installed wireless or LTE wireless backup at each location for redundancy. They even added battery backups to ensure in the event of a power outage, they still maintained connectivity. And then they were, with SD-WAN, one of the great things is you can automatically assign and reroute when connectivity issues arise. So it's very simple to manage from that standpoint, especially the fact that it is a fully managed service. They can just call, and we have the expertise to make sure that their solutions are being met. And then the next one was a healthcare, where it was a medical organization that was using electronic medical records, and they had 22 personnel operating from a dozen office locations, and they were realizing that their current network wasn't designed for or capable of handling the amount of traffic that they were now using with this new electronic medical record system that they deployed. So they needed the issues were, again, the extra bandwidth that was required of the EMR system was causing the major network delays and loss of connectivity, and causing all kinds of frustration for doctors trying to reach their patient data. And then the next one, again, another common theme, we've seen this a lot, is this lack, the redundancy issue, where, if there's an issue, they lose connectivity, everything fails, everything is shut down. So that's definitely, a big part of this puzzle here. And SD-WAN, the fact that you can manage the, traffic routes so easily through the software that's included with it, just makes it so much easier to have, redundant network, whether it be two terrestrial connections or whether it be, an LTE wireless gateway or LTE wireless failover, I should say, solution, makes it very easy. And of course, as there's a common theme, I think we're all used to see this, there is very little budget to add hardware and or even get involved with a monthly service subscription, to try to solve the issue. So they were limited budget, limited resources, limited expertise. So the issue was solved by deploying an SD-WAN solution. So now they were able to back up their sites. They were able to upgrade their bandwidth at each location using broadband instead of expensive T1s that just can't carry the capacity in the first place. And their solution, their needs were met, and they were able to stay within budget. And the other thing about SD-WAN as well is it can be quick to deploy, as opposed to trying to upgrade a T1 with a dedicated internet access circuit. Sometimes we know the lead times, and that could be very long. So that it's just another case in point of how SD-WAN is a benefit and how it really helps organizations meet their network needs. Okay, and then the next one, again, this is really more of the same. It's a retail. I'll just summarize it. It's a retail vertical where they're adding more and more stores. They're growing. They need to keep adding more sites. They need application management protocols. They need to have visibility into their network. They need redundancy, and they deployed an SD-WAN solution, and they were able to meet all of those needs very easily using SD-WAN. Okay, and then from the competitive landscape, again, I know, likely you've been selling SD-WAN prior to now, and really one of the things is, as I said, we are partnered with Cisco for SD-WAN, and one of the big reasons we chose Cisco, we looked at quite a few, was that they have the complete package. They're good at all aspects that were important to us, as far as like network management, application management, security, on-ramps to SaaS and IaaS. All those things were very important for us to have a partner that has all the experience and has what we call the complete player. And they're also, the Cisco brand is recognized, as the top brand throughout the world. So it really helps, from the standpoint that builds the customer confidence. And a lot of our customers are Cisco shops anyway. So this really kind of, works to our advantage as well. All right, and then why Altice SD-WAN next? So 4 key points here. We have standardized product templates, which allow for fast and consistent deployments. We have a world-class partnership with Cisco, who's the leading SD-WAN provider in the world. We have the professional services. So we have excellent support for our customers on day 2. We have we're there for them on day 1 with the expertise and the knowledge to again migrate their legacy networks to the SD-WAN platform. It's done on the same day, and there's a follow-up on day 2 to make sure everything's working properly. And then the consultative world-class support, which occurs down the road when a customer just has a question. They need to contact us for ways to improve their network. They have that support from us to do that. And that's pretty much it. So with that, I'll open it up for questions.
I have two questions. This is Lori. Are there a minimum number of locations where like the Altice service is installed that would be required to deploy this system for a company?
There really isn't a minimum. We had said before in the past, we had said we like 25% of the locations to be in the Altice footprint, but that's not a hard rule at all. That's, it's extremely flexible. So say you had a 50 site opportunity, and of the 50 sites, 5 of them were in the Altice footprint and the other 45 were outside of it. It's not like we're going to say, no, we can't support that. So I would say really it's no, it doesn't really matter to us. It's over the top. It really doesn't matter.
Okay, thanks. And my second question is, if there's consultation going on between the vendor that's, providing the service and the client, and they identify that the client needs increased bandwidth or increased, service, does that information somehow get connected back to the sub-agent, or does that business kind of just get filtered back to Altice?
It would come back to us. So if it needed to upgrade a circuit and the circuit was within the Altice footprint, whether it be broadband or fiber based, we would upgrade that. That's very simple for us to do. If it's like a fiber based circuit outside of our footprint and they're like a type 2, they have a type 2 circuit from us, we'll handle it. But if they brought their own broadband, because that's the other thing I should have mentioned before, the customer can bring their own broadband, then they would have to go contact their provider and have their circuit upgraded.
Okay.
So that's a bit of an issue on our end, on the channel end, because if the customer's coming directly back to the company and it's getting filtered out to the agent, they're not going to get credit for that upgraded sale. So is there some way we can put in to be able to get that back?
Well, let me put it this way. How does it happen? How does it happen today?
Well, the issue here, though, is that we're having a third-party vendor that's in direct contact with our customer. We don't really have that per se in other services, so it's kind of a different scenario here. So I can't really tell you how it's handled normally.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. Something we're going to discuss.
John, I would expect that because that vendor is acting on our behalf, right? They're going out there as Altice, despite the fact that they're contracted install techs on coax.
Mm-hmm.
That is a part of the process that any communications would include the contacts on the account, which traditionally in the channel would include the sub-agents. So that should advise Lori, hey, your customer needs 100 meg at this location or whatever, then Lori is going to go to her channel manager to process an order just like she normally would for that upgrade. That third-party vendor who's out there consulting isn't going to do the upgrade.
No,
they're just going to advise, whoever the contacts are that an upgrade is needed.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. I've been a little unclear how all that works in that process. Yeah, but that's a true statement. That's right. The vendor's not upgrading anything. They're just saying you should upgrade the circuit based off the traffic that we're seeing. Yeah.
Okay.
Watch that, John. Okay.
Any other questions? All right, if there's no other questions, guys, we can give you some time back. I appreciate you joining the call. John, do you have any other parting words before we end the meeting?
No, but I just to say that, if anybody has any questions or you think of something, sometimes, we went through this pretty quick. We were trying to stay, on point about SD-WAN itself or what our product is. But if you have any other questions that you think of, I'm happy to answer them, at any time.
And John, we're going to take the recording now and send it out to a lot of sub-agents.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.